Central Texas style brisket on a Weber Kettle. Check it out. Welcome back to Go Outside and Cook. I'm Ori, and today we're going to cook up a prime grade brisket. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Now, unlike the brisket video that I posted up last year, I'm not going to be foiling or panning this one or mopping it or anything like that, because we got a prime grade brisket. It's really not going to be necessary. It's going to retain all the moisture that we need. So I'm going to do it pseudo Texas style, so we're not going to get real complex on the rub or anything like that. We're going to be cooking it on the Weber Kettle, and I'm trying to get this thing to ride around 275 degrees for the day. And so let's go ahead and get this thing trimmed up. I'll show you quickly how I trim it and prep it, and then we'll get the spices. Right here, this is a flat, and even though this is prime, it's not the best, thickest piece of brisket. But we got our flat that runs up here, and then of course on this side is our point. That's all right in here, and that's being held together, the point and the flat, by this vein of fat right here that runs in between the two. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take this silver skin off of the flat, and I'm going to trim some of this fat down, and I'm just going to hit the edge of this, get that ugly stuff off the outside, and I'll do a little bit of trimming on the fat cap as well, and just kind of manicure this thing up, and then we'll go ahead and get spices on it. So here we go. Okay, so there's our trim, and I'm going to leave this stuff over here. It's going to make some nice burn ends right there. Alright, I'm going to salt it both sides, and pepper. I'm going to go good and heavy with black pepper here. And that's all we're doing is salt and black pepper today. This is my pit configuration. So what I did was I went ahead and snaked the charcoal around the outside edges, threw some wood chunks up on top. I'll be putting some lit coals here to get it started. And then I fashioned this foil pan to fit in here to catch anything that drips down. I don't want all that gunk in the bottom of the cooker. So we'll get these coals started get the temp up and we'll go ahead and get the meat on. Okay, the ambient temp in the pit right now is at 225, so we're just going to bring that up a little bit to about 250 and we'll go ahead and put the meat on. Okay, we have a pit temp right now of 260 degrees and we are slowly climbing up, and that's fine. I was wanting to put the meat on at 250, but I purposely let it climb, and I'm letting it continue to climb because when this meat goes on, it's going to drop probably 25 degrees or more, and so I'm going to let it go in there and start absorbing some of that heat, and then I'll start to adjust my vents to regulate that to around 275 degrees. Okay? Okay, so the heat source right now is on this side of the pit, slowly working its up this way. I built a few more coals in there than what I originally started with. I wasn't quite getting the temperature I wanted, but that's okay. That's what we do, is we improvise. So we're moving around this side. I've got the heat probe on this side, and when I put the lid on, I'm going to put the vent opposite of the heat. So as we go through the cook, I'll be moving the heat probe around. I want it to be further from, the furthest that I can possibly be away from the actual heat source, so that I'm getting the coolest part of the temp is where I'm wanting to measure that 275 degrees. So we'll just keep moving this, and same thing with the vent. As the heat moves around, the vent will move around to the opposite side, and that will allow airflow over the top of the meat and then out the vent. Okay, I'm going to insert this into the deepest part of the meat. See, that's not a good spot. I was getting into the fat cap there. That's not where I want to be. There we go. I want to show you this product I'm using today. It's a remote thermometer by Thermoworks. It's called the Smoke, and I picked this up about 2 months ago. I hadn't really highlighted it in the videos yet because I don't want to endorse things that I don't really have faith in. I've read reviews on this. I've talked to the company. All good stuff. All good stuff. And so I went ahead and ordered one, and the first thing that I noticed about it coming out of the box was the build quality of this thing. Is ridiculously good. It's really good. So this is your base unit, and it handles 2 probes, 2 channels, and so you can use it for 2 different meats. You can use it for the ambient pit temperature plus your meat. The probes that come with it are very high quality compared to what I'm used to in units that I've used in the past, and so. Yeah, so far I've been extremely happy with it. It's got a big display. An old guy like me can read it really easy. And then the remote part that comes with the lanyard. It's a little heavy, so it can be clumsy if you're wearing it like this a lot. But the thing to keep in mind about it is it was really designed for the professional and specifically for the competition barbecue circuit. And that's what makes the build quality so nice, because that's a rough environment out there. You're moving fast, you're in the elements, and the little Mavericks that I was using for the last couple of years, they warp on me. And where I live and where I cook, it gets up to 110 degrees out there in direct sunlight. So those things they don't last. I go through one about every 6 months. I just got tired of buying them. They're inexpensive. They're like 30 bucks. But I'm $1.20 into this after 2 years. This thing runs for right at $100, and I can tell you I've done a lot of cooks with it so far, and it's been reliable. It's extremely accurate. It's got a magnet on the back. You can see in this video I'm using one out there, and I've got it stuck up on a cast iron skillet. It's also got a little kickstand back here, so you can set it up that way. You're going to be seeing this a whole lot more in my videos because it's a product that I think is pretty good. I've affiliated with them, so if you're interested in buying one, I'm going to put a link that goes to my website in the description of this video, and it'll take you to my website where you can see this along with some other products that I recommend. And I'll also put a link that will take you directly to this specific product in the description of this video. So there you go. That's the Thermoworks Smoke. Thumbs up to it. I can tell you, I'm going to be ordering more of their products because I love this. So it's been good. And it's instant read. You know, it's just high quality stuff. So we'll get back to the cook. It's time to start spritzing this thing down. I want to get a good bark developed on it, so I'm just going to spritz it with just regular water, and I'm going to climb this brisket up to about 205 degrees, and then we'll pull it off and rest it. So let's kick this guy after and start spritzing. Okay, this brisket is done. We nailed it. I took it off and I gave it a complete hour and a half worth of rest. So what I did was I brought it inside and I rested it out in the open, and I let that temperature drop down to right around 145, and then I gave it a loose wrap with some foil. I just set it aside and let it rest the rest of the time out, and it's absolutely perfect now. The temp inside the brisket is measuring right now, after rest and everything, right around 135. So it's finished what it had to do. I think it's pretty much perfect. This is something that I would absolutely love to turn in at a contest. This is something that would get you up in that top 10 without a question. So that's it. That's the Texas style brisket done on a Weber Kettle. Plain and simple salt and pepper rub, and it's absolutely beautiful. Take a look at this, and don't forget to subscribe to us. Check out our website. Just go to www.gooutsidandcook.com. Lots of good stuff there for you, so check this out. We'll catch you next time.